Whoops.
Heya.
What's going on?
We've got enemies incoming. Either take them out or capture their base. Let's go.
But I am probably gonna go at 1 cause I'm really tired. B.
Oh. You should just go to sleep, man. You don't need to...
Knowing good to stick around for a bit.
Damn you, accuracy. Hold on, I need to put some music on in my ears. Alrighty, big boy time. This is the tank I meant to pick. Hopefully it's not too loud that it picks up on the mic. Come back! Somebody pull me!
Focus on this location.
Big boy tank.
More like slow ass tank. More like I'm gonna die the second they see me and there's nothing I'm gonna do about it. Tank. More like, why did the enemy send all of their medium tanks their tank? All of those medium tanks can defend me though.
They've spotted us.
Ah, you stupid corner of that tank.
Enemy's got us in their sights. Ready to fire.
Yes, 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 gotta worry.
Enemy's looking right at us. Position target. The enemy is taking the base. Loaded and ready. Enemy's got us in
I'm just too slow for this thing right now. I need to go play the AMX 30. Oh my god, they're just all firing premium! Now there's a guy there, because the guy in our mid lost to fucking... Like I said, that tank is just a kill me tank, because you can't shoot anything. My pen is so low, I can only hit flat stuff. And if every single person is just shooting premium ammo, it really doesn't matter what armor you have. It really just doesn't. When people are fucking 2 tiers higher than you every single time you play this game. And I can only ever seem to get a match where I'm the high tier when I'm using my overpowered tank, which makes no fucking sense. I could use that fucking Type 4 heavy and I'm gonna go against tier X's every time, hands down. And then the one time like that I get to face lower tanks, every single one is premium tanks spamming nothing but premium ammo and penning every single shot in the process. On a tank that's all red front armor. Meanwhile, I bounce shots on a tank with 30mm armor. All because moving.
We've got enemies incoming. Either take them out or capture their base. Let's go. Throwing up the camo net.
Green vegetables are hard to tell the difference of. Like parsley, mint, cilantro, watercress and verdolago look very similar to me because I ben.
All look very different. Except for maybe parsley and cilantro. They could be confused. Mint, watercress, and verdolago all look very different though.
Yeah, mint I can only tell by smell.
Focus on this location. The enemy knows our location.
No,
But with the carpet
Misjudged the
mask, it is
terrain.
impossible. Emoji happy tears. I've been struggling with vegetables at work. It is so damn annoying.
Focus on this area.
What the fuck is this? I never even got to take a good shot at someone. The one I did, I was so mentally distracted, I couldn't even focus. And now they're just shooting us to death from over there. Because no spotters! Honestly, I don't even know why I came in this direction. I just came in this direction to fucking die. No spotters. There's no point. I'm just gonna die to the left. Just like everyone else did. Cool, at least I got some fucking damage.
Tracks up. Let's go. The enemy knows our location. The driver's been hit. Can't move very fast.
Thanks, team. I love how this game's idea of what a tank destroyer should do is the same as a fucking heavy tank and a light tank. Just drive in there, hope you don't die, because every single person in the world is going to target you during your 25-second reload, and then you get to get rewarded somewhat for your actions. Otherwise, every single battle you do is going to be a negative, no matter what. You could hit all of your shots, you could damage every single person, you could kill all the enemies, it doesn't matter. If you lose, you're gonna waste more money than you make. Because you weren't sitting in front of every single person, blocking every single bullet, spotting every single tank. It's so stupid. You like my rat, though? Did you know it's the year of the rat? I was gonna tell you that, but I thought you already knew.
We've got enemies in the area. You either have to take them all out or capture
It's the year of the rat, and there's a giant plague happening. All those superstitious Chinese people are probably going, I told you so, Sonny. You shouldn't have pissed off the Chinese man 15 years ago.
Nice rat. Also, I didn't know it was the year of the emoji rat.
Remember the rats. Rats, rats, where are the rats? I ain't singing.
Did you click it on?
No. I just know that by heart. That's not even the right one. Oh my god, first shot. Like, there's always fucking people camping that hill. And whenever I play, no one ever goes there. But 4 or 5 fucking people on my team are going to that spot. Of course. Of course, because that's only how this game is. It's only a statistical anomaly for me.
The tank
Specifically.
called the mouse.
enemy
At this point, I'm just fucking... I'm so sick of how this game measures your actual skill that I'm just so annoyed. Honestly. Wow, I hit. Congratulations. I hit and I pinned.
Enemies got us in their sights.
Yeah, that's right. Hide, boy.
Load it up. Let it rip. Throwing up the camo net.
Okay, then. I hit the shot with the giant crosshair. Can't hit the shot fully accurate. Are you side scraping me, dude? I am not the tank you want to side scrape.
The enemy knows our location. Dropping target. Enemy vehicle. They found us. Locked and loaded. Focus attention here.
Well man, I'ma head out and heck a tired ILL talk to you in the afternoon on Discord. ILL beyond for sure as well, so don't hesitate to message me.
Been detected. They destroyed one of our tanks.
Can you guys let me get to the top of the hill so I can fire my big gun and then wait to reload? Fuck! You fucking shitheads. I know you can shoot every 15 seconds, but let me at least try to take a fucking shot, you twerps. Ugh. I'm so sick of fucking people recently. I can't stand it. It's why I can't fucking play video games at the moment. I'm so fucking sick of people. I'm so sick of people. Yeah, just go drive forward, dude. Goodbye.
They destroyed one of our tanks. She's loaded. We're done for. Everyone out.
Cock. fuck it. Normally I wait an hour to have a smoke, but... I should have had one before I streamed, to be honest. It probably would have helped with being so irritable. But it's whatever. I'm like an angsty teen. Whatever. Whatever. It's really foggy out. Just about all of the pepper plants look really good. I say just about all of them because there's one in the actual garden bed that just getting eaten up by the frickin' scale bugs. And then the little shield beetle things. Or whatever they're called. They look like a coin. Or like a flat little disc of an insect. And if you pick them up and look on the underside, that's where their legs and stuff are. It's really funny. Then I've also seen this new type of stink bug, which I haven't seen before. So I think it's either a native one, which I haven't seen because it hasn't had the environment to show itself yet, or it's a non-native one, which I haven't seen before because it's invasive. But it's this little tiny green stink bug, and it actually smells good. It smells like a lemon perfume, like a sweet perfume. It has like a sweet smell to it. Most stink bugs have kind of like a foul, BO kind of smell. But that one I actually like. Not that I want to have them around, because stink bugs just suck the plant sap. I found them on my ground cherry plant, so I'm guessing they're a pest. Excuse me. They're a pest specifically to ground cherries or tomatillo plants, because I've never seen them before, and I've never really grown those plants that often, and I've grown them several years in a row in the same area, so I think the things that like those types of plants have finally found that area. Because it's different in every local climate. Back where I used to live, I never had half of the insects that I have here. And it wasn't even that much, it wasn't even that far away. Like, it was less than 100 miles. Those things could easily have been where I was before, but they just don't like that subclimate or whatever where I was. They weren't there. It just wasn't present. But here I think it's because every person has so many shitty gardens with so many like bad, unhealthy plants, because so many people get into gardening. They go to Home Depot, they buy the cheapest garden topsoil garbage that they can get, try to grow plants in it, doesn't go well. And guess what? Unhealthy plants attract pests. It's not an unknown thing, it is a known about thing. A healthy plant attracts less pests than an unhealthy plant, which seems so contradictory to the way that you would normally think of that kind of stuff. And again, most people think it's so contradictory that they just simply will not believe you. That a sick plant will attract things that will cause it to be even more sick. But it is kind of, when you think about it, the way that natural selection works. In a pampered environment, you aren't going to see those things exaggerated, but in an outside environment, you are. Especially when people, like I said, don't know how to fertilize. They don't even fertilize. They don't compost. They don't have any stuff set up. They don't do no-dig. They till garbage soil with garbage soil and then add a little bit of cow manure on the top of it and have decent growth for the first month or two, and then just it never goes right unless they reinvigorate the soil or some dumb shit. Whatever they can convince themselves is the reason why their plants aren't growing well past a certain point of the year. Unless you live in the middle of Texas and you're trying to grow a non-warm weather climate plant, then you shouldn't have any excuses. I have pepper plants. They survive 30 to 20 degree weather changes. They're nice dark green. They don't look unhealthy. They grow just fine. But there are a couple, like that one out there, which has clearly has been targeted for deletion by nature. There are plenty of other pepper plants from the same variety, from the same batch of seeds in the same exact area. That one's leaves looks like you shot it with a fucking BB gun. The same species of plant, literally 6 inches away. 6 inches on the ground. If you just put 6 inches on with your fingers, like right now, that's how far away the plant is from another plant. The one next to it has no bites on it. This one has 2 leaves left, and the 2 leaves are bitten almost down to little stubs. From these little fucking beetles. And it's something you have to grow. You have to do enough gardening, and you have to see this kind of stuff to believe that is how it actually happens, because it is. And if you've grown a garden and you've seen this happen, you know that the second you get a sickly plant, everyone tries to correct it. Everyone tries to do everything in the world to make that sickly plant survive. And for whatever reason, it just never catches up with the other ones. It always gets eaten by insects. It always has mildew. It always has X wrong with it. Whatever that species of thing may be. And that just means probably stop growing it. Take the seeds from the one that doesn't do that. If you have a diseased thing and it's like a special rare variety, then yeah, I guess you have to save the seeds. and hope that the next ones that come out are disease resistant. Or a little bit better at dealing with the pathogens or whatever problem you have in your local area. Otherwise, you're always going to have plants that are always going to be weak. Because again, all of these peppers that I have, well, not all these peppers, but all the peppers that are related to that one are a yellow, orange, like mid-color bell pepper. It's like, as it ripens, it doesn't ripen evenly. It ripens in, like, striated colors. If you have a bourgeois, like, food co-op or farmer's market, you've probably seen them before. But anyways, I grow those, and I have 5 of those plants out in my garden right now, of that species. A couple corbachis. I think there's one habanero or a hot pepper out there, and that's about it for the ones in the actual garden. And that's because the hot peppers, every single time I put them in my garden soil, there's a nematode or something that just targets them for deletion around here. That doesn't happen with the bell peppers, where I'll plant a hot pepper in the ground with a fucking huge root system, and the plant will look fine for the first couple weeks, and then it will start wilting and wilting and wilting, and it will never come back from this wilting. And I always wondered why this happened. And then I would check the root system, and it would have almost no fucking roots left on it. It was like it was eaten almost all the way up to the base of the plant. And I couldn't, there were no grubs in the soil. Normally when I have a problem with that, with like cucumber seedlings, there's a little grub or something underneath the plant that can actually smell the cucumber roots in the soil and will go for them over almost any other plant. If you've ever grown cucumbers before, you'd know the roots smell exactly like you just cut open a fresh cucumber. It's the same exact smell. If you've grown cucumber seedlings in little transplant pots in containers, sometimes even just watering them, you can smell the cucumber smell. Because the plants are that, like, aromatic in terms of the smell that they get off. Just touching them, you can smell the cucumber. They're very much like a herb in the sense of how smelly they are. And not in like a bad way. Some people hate cucumbers, but to me, cucumber is just like a fresh taste. Like, anyone who hates cucumber, that's like people who hate water. To me. Hating cucumber is like hating water. It's just green. It's water flavored green. That's all it is. It's just a slightly different green flavor than lettuce. That's also watery. And believe me, I'm a person who likes vegetables from the garden, but if you're gonna just cut everything down to a base form, that's what that is. It's not something that's complex. People love to talk up that kind of shit all the fucking time. Just like people like to talk up growing stuff from home. And people say it's easy. And then you have stuff like that. And then the person will say, well, it's easy if you follow these tips. And it's like, yeah. But people still get it wrong. Because it's not easy. It's a learning experience. And some people don't like learning. And if they can't just look at something and know how to do it, they aren't going to do it. Because this generation, this modern generation of people, have trained people to think that way. Can't do something, just give up on it and do something else. You'll probably be good at that. Don't try and understand it. It's not worth it. It's just a bunch of nerd stuff, or it's a bunch of hippie stuff, or it's a bunch of X group of people stuff. People downplay the fact that it's not that hard to understand it because it occurs around you all the time. And the fact is that people will be more abrasive against learning about something that's not even that hard to understand on a fundamental level if you just explain stuff on, like, so A good example would be just a natural level. Like you have things in nature that grow and rot, and when they rot, it feeds microbes, which turn those things into active chemicals, which then things can then use again. And that is how the cycle of life happens. Fun fact, when plants first started to be able to synthesize lignin, it wasn't, I believe, millions of years before the first bacteria that could even break down the lignin came along. So for that period of time, there was just organic matter piling up everywhere because nothing was breaking it down. But nowadays, where we have this established ecosystem where everything has a cycle in it, nothing doesn't take part in it. This is why I always laugh at the veganism idea of somehow plants being more rational to eat than animals. We're all made of the same thing. We all intake the same base chemicals. I don't give a fuck what your stupid, inhumane, sorry, inhumane is the wrong word. Humanistic bullshit you can come up with in your brain. Like, just bullshit associations that we as humans have begun to associate with things. It's the whole reason why certain people in some countries go like, I can't believe you eat this animal. And then other people in the other countries are like, I can't believe you eat that animal. And that's just the internal... That's the debacle, because everyone likes to go, oh, one person who was a popular person, he was either a town mayor or a council guy, had one bad experience with something and changed that entire area for that group of people. And only the small amount of people who didn't give a fuck about it, or not enough to voice their word, and weren't, because I can't even explain it properly, because people who always have a strong or negative opinion about something are always going to be the people that are most hurt about. Regardless of what people like to say, there are way, way more people who would rather tell you the reasons that everything sucks instead of the reasons why everything is good. And I do that with video games all the time. So I can understand it even on a basic level. But that's also because I'm just a ragey douchebag, but I understand that about my character. But also what makes me different from most people is I do have an understanding, at least a basic understanding of stuff like that, because it's really not that hard. People love to look up images of like these crazy things, like, oh, look at this like tiger beetle, aren't these cool, like watch this like documentary on a tiger beetle that you could literally find in your backyard anywhere in America. But because someone had a documentary on it and followed it with a camera along the ground, it's interesting because it's being narrated by a British guy. But if you saw it out in your yard, you would just be like, yeah, whatever. Just a blue-colored beetle that moves very fast. What's so cool about it? The funniest part is that you could show a person a picture of a scenic view while in the same scenic view, and they would probably think the picture of it is cooler than actually seeing it in person just for vanity's sake. This is why people go to Instagram places to just take a photo of themselves in that place. They don't go for what the actual place is. They just go to say that they've been to that place. They don't actually do anything. That's like the definition of the episode of King of the Hill where Khan wants to have a no carbon footprint thing, and it's a total scam bullshit thing, because even if that was a real plausible thing, there's no such thing as zero carbon footprint. There's no such thing. Even when trees break down, some of the carbon goes back up into the atmosphere. In fact, a good portion of it goes right back up into the atmosphere, because not enough of it layers in a way where it preserves it for long enough that it doesn't get used by some microbiology. And that's why burning is an important thing in a lot of ecosystems. You need some amount of sequestered carbon to remain in that soil. You need that organic matter in a lot of places. That is what makes soil. Sand is not soil. It's sand. Dirt is not sand. And dirt is not soil. Although soil can be dirt. Dirt is like what you would find at like a racetrack. No tilth, compacts very easily, normally has a lot of small stone in it. That's dirt. Soil has many different, it's a composite. Or an aggregate, I guess you would say. A lot of things in soil are referred to as soil aggregates. But I'm going to stop going on about it. Again, a lot of people don't really care nowadays, which is the annoying part for me, is that people don't care about the biology of the planet that we live on. You don't care about the one fucking place you live on, but if you went to an alien planet, you'd be like, oh yeah, that looks cool, and you still wouldn't give a fuck about it. My favorite part about people who play like exploratory video games and will 100% scanning systems, where they scan every like animal or every fruit or every vegetable or something like that, it's like you could literally do that in real life. Granted, you'll probably never get to 100%. In fact, you'll never get to 100%. But you can at least say you did you grew a fuck ton of them, or you ate a fuck ton of them. You could be like the weird explorer guy. He's a person I've been subscribed to for many years. He's a person I always watch every single one of his videos. Could be like that guy. I like seeing new stuff, but not everyone always has the ability to get that, and I completely understand it. It's not easy for me. I live in the middle of nowhere. It's hard to get exotic fruits and vegetables. I have to travel to get that kind of stuff. Or even to go to a nursery to get plants for my yard is like a travel. If I wanted to get decent plants, like trees or any types of bush that was actually fruit producing, like the blueberry plants I had to travel like an hour and a half to get those. I didn't want to get some of the shitty ones from like the Home Depot or the Lowe's that they have sometimes. A lot of those are just not taken care of properly. And a lot of them are left to fruit inside of the stores as a mature plant, which is fine, but it's just a waste. Because they're told not to do anything or touch them. It's so annoying. It's why I can't work in those kinds of situations, because people always ask me why I don't just work in the gardening part of those kinds of places. I'm like, I can't. I hate how those places work. I have a despise for that. Water it with the chemical Miracle-Gro fertilizer. Every time, because we're too lazy to use the same exact thing in an organic form. No, it has to be the salt-based organic Miracle-Gro. Or not even organic, non-organic, inorganic Miracle-Gro bullshit. And then the plants that are organic don't get fed anything half of the time, because they don't have, at least up until recently, I should say, they didn't have an organic alternative. But now Miracle-Gro actually has an organic liquid fertilizer that they do use on stuff. But it's not really any better, because the fact that it's just juiced with liquid fertilizer the entire time makes you think that you're buying this super healthy plant. But if you bring it home and slap it into garbage, then it's gonna grow fine while it has that little bit of fertilizer, and every time you water it, it's gonna get a little hit of that fertilizer. It's gonna get a little toke off of that pipe, and then it's gonna be like, where'd all the weed go? Because there's going to be nothing in the soil, and you're going to have a plant that slowly starts to turn yellow, and it's going to look like the typical gardener's experience when they don't think things through or do the actual basic research. And I'm not saying gardening is complicated, because it really isn't, but it is complicated in ways that people don't consider, and those things are only not considered because of how plants and biology are taught to people. You'd think in 2020, with all of our modern science, that we still wouldn't be teaching kids that fucking tomatoes and peppers are vegetables. And so you have, I've talked about this before, so you don't have fucking grown adults going, is this a vegetables? Are these vegetables? Oh, but culinarily speaking, this is a vegetable. Because we got to have all this convoluted bullshit that goes on just to confuse and like undermine people who actually have scientific knowledge. If it has a fucking seed in it, or it produces a damn seed, it's a fruit. I don't give a fuck what you say. I don't give a fuck what a culinary definition is. Just because you think a tomato doesn't taste like a piece of fruit. Just because a tomato doesn't taste like an orange, that doesn't mean it's not a fruit. It pisses me off. Because people should just be, it shouldn't be that hard to understand or teach a fucking kid that there is one major difference in between a fruit and a vegetable. And that's one major difference is, are there seeds? Is it the part of the plant that has to do with the seeds? If so, then it's probably a fucking fruit. Any other part of the plant is a vegetable. It shouldn't be that hard. But people make shit like that hard. That's the kind of shit that pisses me off, because it's not gonna die until someone that is decently popular says exactly what I just said. That's the only time it'll stop. When someone with 6 million plus views of their podcast, if, for example, if someone like Joe Rogan said that out loud on his podcast, then you'd see a massive decrease in the amount of people calling those things fruits or vegetables. Because it just needs to stop. That kind of, well, I'm going to say what I want to say because the world's a whatever. But then they want to try and have like a valid opinion when talking about something scientific. When you're calling something an incorrect term scientifically. Again, it just flusters me, because you see this anywhere you go when it talks about gardening. You could literally search how to make a vegetable garden on YouTube, and it's going to talk about tomatoes. You don't eat the leaves, you don't eat the stems, you don't eat the roots. It doesn't make a tuber. It doesn't have rhizomes. You don't eat a vegetable. It's a fucking fruit. Yeah, you're not going to stick a tomato in fruit salad. But there are a lot of other fruits you probably wouldn't stick in a fruit salad. You're going to stick a walnut in a fruit salad? You gonna stick one of the little white fluffy things that fly off of a dandelion in a fruit salad? You gonna stick one of the little helicopter spinny things that come off of a tree a fruit salad? No, you're not. And that's, again, the type of shit that bothers me. Because it can be simple. But people have overcomplicated things in the wrong ways and made things way harder than it needs to be. The 3 simple concepts I can tell anyone if you want to get into gardening. organic matter. It doesn't matter where this is. As long as you have some of this in the medium that you're growing, it will be able to hold water and moisture. Any type of organic matter. It doesn't matter where you're getting it. Just organic matter. It could even be just fucking newspaper. It literally does not matter. Just some amount of organic matter. Then, some form of drainage, mineral, or something that allows water to pass by it easily. You can use lightweight stones. You can use perlite, vermiculite. You can use sand if that's your only naturally occurring thing that you have available. You can just take some of your poor soil and mix it in to compost to give it a more balanced consistency. Or mix it into the organic matter, like I was saying. And then the third thing is a really simple thing, and that's fertilizing. Because the fourth thing that you could technically say is watering, but watering is self-explanatory. Watering is based on the type of plant and the type of soil. If your soil is more organic matter rich, you probably don't need to water as much because it's going to hold on to it for a long time, and you don't want it to get too soggy. If your soil is more sand rich or more mineral dense, you're probably going to want to water more often because it's going to drain and it's going to cake up all that water really fast. Anyways, I realize just now that I've been talking about this shit for 30 minutes and I have not played the game. I'm going to shut up after I use the bathroom real quick. Alright. The one last thing that I did want to say about that, in terms of fertilizing, is you can go for targeted stuff if you are growing only one thing, but honestly, if you have a decent enough I can't even speak. If you have a decent enough organic matter source, it really won't matter. Plants will use what they need as the bacteria and fungus make it more bioavailable to them. When you're growing in soil, that's more important than anything. If you're growing in hydro, you're circumventing biology. I mean, it's obviously there's still biology going on, like the plant is growing, but you don't get a ton of the fungal relationships that you get, which is why plants in hydro have a higher tendency to have root rot, if not aerated. Even though if you keep a sterile environment, you can do Kratky, because plants don't need oxygen in the water. That's a huge misnomer. The roots in the water are not getting oxygen. The roots in the air get oxygen. That's just how plants work. Plants respirate oxygen just like a human's lungs do. They don't fucking... Not like they breathe, but I mean it as in how they trade it off through their root system. They're not like a fish where they're taking the oxygen out of another substance. They're not filtering the oxygen out of something. They're just absorbing it in the soil. That's why hydrogen peroxide helps add oxygen to soil, even in areas where you can't till. You can water with hydrogen peroxide. I mean, it will kill some fungus and bacteria, but as long as you're not putting it over a huge square footage, the same fungus and bacteria will just come and repopulate that area very quickly. And sometimes hydrogen peroxide won't even fully kill them because it naturally occurs in plants. Probably should have been a little bit more careful, but honestly, I hate using that tank because of its abhorrently slow reload. Like, you have a bunch of people nowadays, especially on YouTube, who are propagating, just to use another plant term for the fun of it, who are propagating the idea of using pee as a fertilizer, but then they tell that to people who have salty diets. Because a lot of these people out there are not eating the family-friendly diet that a lot of these people who are telling them to do that are. If you have a high sodium diet, you cannot water plants with your pee. Not unless your soil has excess amounts of organic matter that you don't mind salting up, which will pretty much inhibit plants from being able to root in that part of organic matter.
They spotted us. We got long-range fire incoming.
Really?
There's one. Target locked.
Premium, premium, premium. Everybody fires premium. What is fun?
Guys, back up. Go, go, go. Ready to fire on target.
Honestly, kill me again.
Enemy's got us in their sights.
I don't even know how long I'm going to stream this for, because honestly, I'm kind of just fucking tired of this game. And it's dumb shit.
We got a damaged frac.
Like, what are you, hiding from me in that close of a proximity? Like, get the fuck out of here. Stupid game. Just kill me, dude. I'm not even gonna fight you. Never mind, don't kill me then. Cool.
Done for. Everyone get out.
Premium, 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 premium. It's either premium or they're using something else to fire their normal bullets super accurately. my god, why would you... What kind of driving is that? He's driving like a freaking robot.
All Allied artillery has been obliterated. Target locked. Punched a hole in their armor. Reloading. Unlocking target. Like that one went right through. We can't hold on.
Well, it's not like there's much I can do. I hate playing tanks like this because I always feel like I'm so fucking useless. Like, why would you play this? What is useful about it? That's why I wonder every single time I see it, I'm like, how is that ever on a winning team? If that thing is on a winning team, it's not because it is the reason why the team is winning. If that's the reason why the team is winning, the enemy team is literally brain dead. Or they just don't have any premium ammo because they're cheap. Like me.
Our mission is to capture and hold the marked objective. Let's do it.
Always got to fight against tier 10s in this thing. I'm just going to go straight for the capture point. Fuck it. Who's going to stop me? Everyone.
Enemy's gun is in their sight. Target locked. Ready to fire on target. Enemy's looking right at us.
Did that with one hand.
Locked and loaded. They hit the fuel tank.
This is how you play the game.
Unlocking target. Enemy's gun is in their sight.
Nope.
We lost a track.
No, come back! Come back here! Get back over here! Come fight me! Fight the fatty. Sorry, that's offensive. Fight the thick. Thick boy.
Target locked. They spotted us. Ready to fire on target.
Oh my god, I hit... Are you fucking serious in the fact that I hit the one spot?
Target locked.
That's why you don't lock on.
Enemy's got us in their sights. Load it up. Let it rip.
Oh no. No, no, no. I know it. I know it. Oh no. Oh, you sucker. Fart. Eat a fart. Fart custard. Eat a glorf.
Like that one went right
Yes. What? I have no idea how that hit, but the other one didn't. Oh god.
ready to fire on target. Releasing target. Looks like that one went right through. One of our vehicles destroyed.
Pray to arm Jesus.
Tracks up. Let's go. Ready to fire.
Oh no. No. Arm Jesus, no.
We're immobilized. Let's go hole in their armor. Tracks up. Let's go. Enemies are capturing the base. Penetration.
He's penning me? Where? Alrighty then. He drove by me so fast, my brain was like, what?
Target locked.
What?
Enemies looking right at us. Dropping target. That got him. Ready to fire on target. They spotted us. Locked on. Reloading. Releasing target. Like that one will break through. Enemies got us in their sights. Keep going. Find us another target. Target locked. And destroy one of our tanks. Ready to fire on target. They hit one of our tracks.
No! I know I should have locked onto the stockade.
Get this show on the road.
What? You're not gonna tell me that tank is gonna stop me. This much meat. Nothing but meat.
Enemies looking right at us.
Meat.
Ready to fire on target. They spotted us. One of our tracks is damaged. Enemies looking right at us. Our track's been hit. Loaded and ready. Enemies got us in their sights.
I'm gonna get premium RD'd and die. This is gonna happen to me. I'm just waiting for it. It's gonna happen any moment now. Yep, I knew it.
Artillery's got us dead.
Load me in a heat. I'm not even gonna bother. I'm just gonna waste this shot. This is gonna be my one shot.
Enemies looking right at us.
My one shot.
Ready to fire on target. Enemy armor is damaged.
Some damage, did some damage, did some stuff. I did that stuff, that stuff. Oh, no.
Finished.
He did stuff. Hey, do you know what that guy did? Stuff. Exactly. I'm like thinking to myself, what do I have the highest probability of actually making money? And the only answer is that. Simply put, that. This tank. Even though I waste money using it every time because I put 100 octane gasoline in a tank that has pretty decent traverse speed. But it also has very shitty traverse speed at the exact same time. I'm Henry Rollins right now. I'm just eating fucking cheddar popcorn. No, why didn't you continue driving forward? Oh. Right. I wanted to have someone die in a funny way, but no. I can't just get the one noob that just drives forward. No. Everybody who plays video games nowadays is on the highest grade cocaine, otherwise known as caffeine. Oh, fuck. Oh. Sorry. Sharp pains and spasms. I currently have Hail Mary now and Bestiary on in my brain. Not in my brain, in my ears. That's basically my brain.
They spotted us. Enemy sighted.
Hey, he was pulling to me. Yo, I'm right here.
I see one.
That means you should run, dude.
Enemy spotted us. Look out. Enemy spotted.
I eat those.
On this area.
I nom those.
Shot ricochet.
Would you just die? Thank you. Next one. Never mind, because I can't hit anything. Why was I aiming there and not here? I don't know. Nobody will ever know. How are you firing?
Strike through. They're looking at us. Loaded up. Enemy spotted us. Optics up. Searching the area. We didn't penetrate. They spotted us. Reloaded.
us. Here's their armor. Open their armor. They spotted us. Ready to fire. Focus on this location. They're looking at us. They spotted us. Gun loaded. They got one of us. They're looking at us. Tracks are damaged. Enemy spotted us. They're looking at us. Loaded and ready.
Oh,
The fight.
fuck. What does aiming have to take so fucking long? Why do I feel like whenever I shoot at this tank, it's made of like unobtainium, but whenever I use it, it's like that tank you made when you're 5 years old out of a cardboard box and painted tracks on the side? Man, if only I had like an audience for my comedic genius. Not. More like comedic impedance. Impedance. Doesn't quite work, bud. You blew it. You had a chance. You blew it. Success. Stick a fucking... Oh, that makes me so salty. Oh, that's... Oh, so salty. I wanted to win. But I didn't win. I didn't win. Doody 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 doo. Sorry, still. And one of the songs that was playing stuck in my head. Next time Hyro's here, next time one of my friends is in the chat, I'll talk about the more of the recent stuff that's been happening in my actual life, because I haven't really been talking about that. I don't know how badly it was going to affect me or not. No, because sometimes things don't immediately hit you. Sometimes it can take a little while. I'm good though. Just trying not to talk too loud. If my mic's even picking me up. Ooh, a nice cool breeze came in and started to take away the fog. I find it amazing how fast the pavement dries out. The asphalt. Sorry, I was trying to pop my ear. Wonder if that's audible on the mic. Assume it probably is. Give me just one more second.
Enemies in the area. Take them all out or take their place. Let's do this. Focus on this area. loaded. Releasing target. Our vehicle was destroyed. They're looking at us. Locked, loaded and ready. Focus on this location. Enemy spotted us. Tracks busted. Track repaired. Drive on. Penetrated their armor. Ready to fire. They're looking at us. Friendly destroyed. Loaded and ready. Focus here. Enemies spotted us. Right. Got them in our sights. Ready to fire. They spotted us. Either take them all out or capture their base. Loaded and ready. Punching through their armor. Enemy spotted us. Targets locked. Loaded up. Zero pen. They spotted us. Enemy spotted us. Locked, loaded and ready. Locked on. They spotted us. Shot ricochet. Fire at will. Enemy spotted us. Got them in our sights. They hit our ammo rack. Okay, ammo rack fixed. They're looking at us. Ready to fire. Target locked. Loaded up. Focus here. Locked on. They spotted us. Destroy. Ready to fire. They're looking at us. Ready to fire. We just scratched them. Enemy spotted us. Everyone, exit. Mission over.
You know what? I know I didn't stream super long, but I'm pretty tired and I don't really want to play anymore, so I'll see you around again. I'll probably stream a little bit tomorrow.